Gosk at Yankee Stadium. Stephanie, thank you very much. Joe Tacopina, one of Alex Rodriguez's attorneys, is with us exclusively. Joe, good morning. Nice to see you. Do you have the credibility, as we've just heard, to make these claims?
Well, you know, I think so. And if the Vice President of Major League Baseball would be good enough to waive the confidentiality clause, I'd love nothing more than to talk about Alex Rodriguez's testing history and various things. I would love nothing more.
Joe, that office sent us a letter overnight saying they are willing to do exactly that. They sent me a letter saying that if you'll sign this letter, they are willing to waive the confidentiality clause in the Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program, that they'll be allowed to talk about everything and you'll be allowed to talk about everything. And they say that would include all prior violations of the program committed by Rodriguez, all documents, records, communications, text messages, and instant messages relating to Rodriguez's treatment by Anthony Bosch. Would you do that?
We've been asking Matt for that for, I don't know, 3-4 weeks. They would love nothing more than for us to be able to not hide behind this anonymous source doctrine, which they've been doing.
I just received this. I just received it. They say if you'll sign it, everybody can talk about...
If you would like me to sit and read this two-page letter right now...
No, I'm just saying that they just sent that over to me.
Listen. We would love nothing more than to be able to discuss the testing history and the scientific evidence and the test of Alex Rodriguez regarding this JDA, this Joint Drug Program. Nothing more.
You've made allegations on behalf of Alex Rodriguez against the Yankees and Major League Baseball about their ethics. When it all comes right down to it, Joe, this began with Major League Baseball questioning the ethics of Alex Rodriguez. And Alex has yet to answer the most important and most basic question in this, whether he once again used performance-enhancing drugs. Are you prepared to answer that question this morning?
Here's what I'm prepared to answer. Alex admitted back in 2001 and 2002 that he had used performance-enhancing drugs as a member of the Texas Rangers when it was not banned. He said since then he has not. I will tell you this. This letter is nice. I mean, they could have sent it to me last night, and I would have been prepared to.
They just sent it to me as well.
I would have been prepared to execute it, and we could have talked about the history today, because I have so many things I'd love to say if there was a waiver.
But let me say this. Will you answer that question? Because doesn't he owe people an answer to that question before you start pointing fingers at people in other directions?
No. Listen, Matt. Let me say this to you first. The reason we're sitting here today, and you know we had the schedule for last week, and we had canceled.
Absolutely.
We had canceled because we saw Alex was on the field and he was playing well. We didn't want to try this case, so to speak, in the media. But what's been going on has been outrageous. It's been anonymous leak after anonymous leak after anonymous leak, and it doesn't stop. And it has to stop because they are perverting this process, and the process should not be perverted. We want to do this in the right tribunal where we get to confront the evidence. What I'll tell you is this. Alex Rodriguez, when we confront this evidence, will have been found not responsible to the point where he shouldn't serve one inning of a suspension as opposed to 211 games. I know the evidence in this case.
And I know that's a question that puzzles a lot of people. You got 13 other players who were, confronted with the exact same evidence. They all basically said, give me the 50-game suspension. Got me. Alex Rodriguez, according to, if we're to believe you, looks at that evidence and says, not me. I'm not a part of this. I did nothing wrong. Why?
Well, first of all, it's not the exact same evidence. I know the evidence against Alex Rodriguez, and I will tell you this, it will never stand up in a court of law or in an arbitration panel courtroom. Never. Because the evidence was based on one person, Anthony Bosch. Anthony Bosch, who the MLB made a deal with, who they offered to pay his legal fees to, who they offered to not sue. They sued everyone else in by justice.
You said he has no credibility.
Well, it's clear he has no credibility, and more importantly, he has no ability to testify because he's someone who has peddled drugs to high school students.
And yet, released last night by ESPN, and now a statement by Anthony Bosch's attorneys that say, quote, Bosch retained the legal services of Suzy Ribeiro Ayala in February 2013. A retainer was paid via wire transfer by a representative of Alex Rodriguez. Ms. Ribeiro Ayala accepted this payment on behalf of Anthony Bosch as payment for his legal representation. If this guy has no credibility, why would Alex Rodriguez contribute to his legal defense fund?
There's another question that, because of this confidentiality clause of the JDA, I'm not prepared to answer. Again, this is a great letter. I wish I had this last night.
What's the relationship between Tony Bosch and Alex Rodriguez? What is it? What was it?
These facts, and there was a relationship, obviously, but these facts will be answered at an appellate process hearing. We are not going to circumvent this process. There is a process in place. We respect the appeal process, Matt. What I want to say is this, though. There's a million questions I'd love to answer. The reason we're here is to stop what's been going on, which, we have not released information and hid behind some anonymous source like people are doing, whoever it is.
You
MLB, the
provided
Yankees,
us with
whomever.
an MRI
That's
that
right.
was taken on Alex Rodriguez on October 6th of last year, 2012. You want us to take a look at that? We've just sent it to an independent doctor to read it. Why do you want us to see that?
Well,
what do you think is so important about
Because
that?
what happened last night, the Yankees general manager, Brian Cashman, went on and said that, there was never any indication of a left hip problem until the offseason. And they challenged us to release Alex's MRI in that regard. I have the report right here, and we've sent it to you along with the digital images. This MRI was taken on October 11th, 2012, after Game 4 of the Baltimore series, before the Detroit series. What it indicated, what it showed, was Alex Rodriguez had a hole in his left hip, a torn labrum, okay? He went on to play in the Detroit series, obviously didn't play well, was benched, was made a scapegoat. Nobody told Alex Rodriguez that he had a hole in his left hip. Nobody. It was until after the season was done that he went to his own doctor.
Wouldn't the Yankees have wanted to reveal the severity of that injury? Because they have an insurance policy on Alex Rodriguez.
Yes, unless they wanted to make him a scapegoat. I don't understand why. I don't understand the motivation behind it, Matt. But the New York Yankees doctor, Dr. Ahmad, did this MRI. The report is here. The digital images are in your possession. Brian Cashman said it didn't happen until the offseason. Obviously, the general manager of this team doesn't even know when his player's MRI was taken.
This war of words, Joe, this war of wills right now seems to be some sort of a way for Alex and baseball to say, hey, we can both inflict a lot of damage in this situation. Is there a number, 100 games, 80 games, that Alex Rodriguez would accept right now, take that suspension, and make all this go away?
It's a great question. I will tell you this. It's a hypothetical, okay? First and foremost, so it's hard to deal with.
They gave him a 50-game suspension like they've given the others?
Which, by the way, if they believe their evidence, would be in accordance with their own rules, right?
Would he
First
take it?
time. Here's what I'll say to that. If he listens to me, if I were advising him based on the evidence and based on what I know about the evidence, I would tell him, don't take one inning, Alex. Forget 50 games. Don't take one inning. That being said, that's his decision to make if and when that question is presented.
It's one of the biggest stories in sports right now, Joe Tacopina, and you're in the middle of it, as is Alex. Thanks very much for being here. I appreciate it. Let's take a turn.